everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel, and we've got more content this time. It's new fresh content on the PC version this time, a big update which we'll have a look in a separate video. But first up today, I wanted to give you guys a preview of the ready to race content. This is going to be a preview of just the Audi content, as there is 10 cars in it. I don't want the video to drag on for 30 odd minutes, as I like to give a proper look at these cars. So we're starting off with the Audi TT Cup. This lap is taken from an online race. I joined an online session, ended up with 24 cars in it pretty much. We got pole position with this lap, you can see now, and we were currently only a 10th up, but with this lap it put us into pole. So it's a really nice car to drive. It's got a very touring car kind of feel to it. Obviously this is front wheel drive, so you've got to be very careful on getting on the power. I ended up getting used to it in the end, just coasting through the corners. Once you feel the grip there, getting hard on that pound, really powering out the corners as much as possible. For example, coming into this corner now, you see we're lifting off the coasting, and then once the power, I can feel it's gripping up, you see me slam that the power to maximum power. You don't need to worry about that rear end kicking out because it's front wheel drive, so you can just wait till the grip's there, then put that power down. This corner we kind of messed up a bit, we had to back off the power, you'll see slightly lifting there just to stop it running wide, but we still took pole with this lap. But a really nice car to drive. This car is going to be so good for online racing. I think console owners, you really need to be excited about this pack. I think this pack is probably the best pack out of any of the DLCs I've come across on Assetto Corsa. Easily beating any of the Porsche packs, the red pack in my view. It might not have any new tracks with this the ready to race pack, but it's got 10 amazing cars. I didn't come across a car that I was like, meh. The only car that I wasn't amazingly thrilled by was the 570S, which we'll come to in the part 2 when we look at that. But that's mainly because I'm not the biggest fan of road cars. I like my cars to grip. I want race cars. I want to be racing proper race cars. But it was still an enjoyable car to drive, even though it's not my cup of tea. But we'll have a little look now. This was the start of the online race. One thing you have to be careful with this car is not to put it in first gear before it starts. It will just go because of the way the gearbox works. It will just move. So you can see that guy at the back there got a penalty there. We got away at the start. So the second place got shunted off at the start. He was the only person that was really going to challenge us. He was half a second off in qualifying, but he had reasonable pace. But you can see a bit of mayhem going on in the background. But the majority of cars got through that first corner nice and easy. But we just pulled away from the start. I really like this car. I can see myself doing a lot of racing in this car. Enjoyable car. Its big brother is probably even more fun to drive, but it's going to probably be not so close racing online. This was just, I mean, I can see if you get a good lobby of people together, once everyone's used to this car, the racing's going to be extremely close. It's very touring car, the way it handles, with that front wheel drive system. Probably a little bit more downforce than a normal touring car though, I would guess. But extremely good car to drive. I think everyone on console needs to be looking forward to this car and all the other cars in the pack. So we'll let this little bit of the replay play out, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to have a little look at the more powerful version basically of this car. It's the VLN version, I think it's called. It's pushing out about just under 100 horsepower more. I think this is about 315 horsepower, 310 or something like that. And the other version is nearly approaching 400 horsepower, I think it is, maybe 390 or 400 horsepower, something like that. But you can really feel the power in it, and it's a really enjoyable car to drive. It's really strange to be driving a car like that with front wheel drive, but it's got that much downforce. You can really push it through the corners, and you do get a bit of that understeer if you're too aggressive on the throttle. But we'll have a little look at it now. So this was my second lap, only my second lap, just bear that in mind. I didn't spend too long on some of these cars because I did that online race. I was running out a bit of time to test these cars out. I wanted to get them all tested out last night, so then I could edit all the footage together. But you can see now we ran a little bit wide here. See, we were a bit too eager on that throttle, run a bit wide on the outside there, lost about 4 tenths, 5 tenths more. This was only our second lap, like I say, so we were still just testing out where we can push, where we can't. You can see it handles, it's strange. It's basically like a front wheel drive Audi R8 GT3 car with less power. That's the only way I can describe it. It's just, you just got to be so careful on the throttle. One thing you do need to be careful of is obviously getting your pressures right. So all that I changed for the setup, all these laps are basically default setups, with just gearing changed on the cars that I can just alter the gearing. On the Red Bull race before, we ran the downforce very low. That's one thing with that car. It's got that much grip, you might as well go low on downforce, but not too low that you're going to kick the back end out. So as I was saying with the tyre pressures, yeah, because this is front wheel drive, you need to set your rear tyre pressures quite high so that they remain in the optimal range. You can see there, they're going to go cold anyway, the tyres, but as long as you've got a bit of heat in them, the main priority of that rear tyre is keeping the tyre pressure in the green. You can see there, we're not in it there because we obviously haven't done anything with the setup, but the front tyres are going to take most of the heat in this car because it's just got so much power. It sounds really nice to drive. I think they've made so much progress on Assetto Corsa in terms of the audio. It just sounds so good, the audio in the new cars that they've done. I think picked up on it on Porsche pack with the 911 RSR 2017. That car just seemed to up the level even more. They were already at an extremely high level anyway, the sound, but with this pack, the cars just sound amazing, and hopefully it's going to filter in to some of the older cars, the improvements in the audio, but it's just really getting there with the audio of this game. It's easily, in my view personally, I think it's a class above anything I've come across in terms of audio, and this pack just emphasises that even more. This car, a really fun car again. You're going to love this car on console when you get hold of this. If you haven't bought it on PC, you need to get on Steam and buy this pack. It is easily the best pack of any so far, and I personally think it's not bad value. I mean, $5.99 for 10 cars, you think about that, you're only paying what, 50-60p a car, something like that, maybe a bit more. I'm not so sure on the exact amount, but like, you know, they're good cars. These aren't cars that you're not going to use. Some of these cars that really shocked me how good they were to drive as well. When we come to part 2, a real highlight for me was the rally car, the Toyota Sneaker. It's just the sound effects on it, the handling. You can drift it around the corners, slide in it everywhere. Great car to drive. So you can see there, we went over the line on that lap, 227. You're going to knock probably another 2-3 seconds off that once you've got it set up and you're used to the car. So it's a little bit slower than the GT3 because of the power, but you can see the handling is there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you have a little listen to this car now and let you hear the audio coming through without me talking over it, just so you can just hear what I'm talking about in terms of the audio. Anyway, check this out guys, and then we'll come back for the next car. So as you can hear there, guys, that car sounds absolutely amazing. So next up on the Audi list, which cars I was testing, was the Audi R8 new GT3. This is the 2016 model of the R8 GT3, and this was just taken from a single player racing against the 100% AI with them set to maximum aggression. I can tell you now there is definite improvements in the AI as well. There is clear, you know, they're still a little bit hesitant in certain situations, but the improvement is massive. They now race a lot better, and they seem a lot cleverer in the way they race, and I'll do an in-depth look at the AI in a separate video. For this video, obviously we're just concentrating on this DLC pack. And another great car. This car is going to be very competitive. No setup was on this. All we did was we altered the gearing, just because I know the gearing is around 160 for this track. You're not going to get to anything higher in a GT3 car, so I knew kind of whereabouts to set the gearing. Everything else was basically default. We might have altered slightly the ride height, I can't exactly remember, but you can see already we decided to push it a little bit hard. We're getting used to the car, finding out how to run it. We had traction control on the weakest setting at this stage. You know, once we get used to the setting, I think I might have altered the differential as well, but I think you can actually run this car with higher differential, because I tried it again with higher and it felt a lot better. But you can see we're already into the 2 minutes ones, looking at the delta there, and we're not with no setup, and we're not even pushing. I think the track was only on 99% grip when we started, on 98%, sorry, when we started it, so it was probably around 99 at this point. It's not at the best conditions. Also the temperatures were quite high, so this could be one of the fastest cars around this Silverstone track. The old Audi was good on this track, so I'm guessing this car is going to be very powerful. This could be up there as one of the best GT3 cars available now that it's on the game. It's going to be a very close battle anyway. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out, but as you can see there, we're going over the line. Sounds amazing on this car again. We forgot to record the replay annoyingly, but you can hear the sound anyway whilst I'm talking. It's very similar. You can just see it's got a little bit more information than the older car. You can just tell it's just that little bit better. Really nice car to drive, and again, it's going to be very popular in the GT3 class when it comes to console also and on PC. So I look forward to driving this and getting a setup out for that car very soon. It'll be a priority after I've got some of the content sorted. So next up is the Audi LMP Hybrid racing car. So this car again utilises electricity in the hybrid system, but it's slightly different to the more modern versions. This car's on Project Cars. I can tell you now, I really like Project Cars. Everyone knows I like Project Cars, but this is where the physics really come into play when you're coming into cars like this. The feeling you get in these cars is just so much better than any game I've come across. This was our second lap in this car. I think the first lap was just putting the bank and just getting me braking points, and the second lap was just pushing it a little bit harder. You can see we were making little mistakes on the power. No setup at all, running quite high downforce, so you know you're going to want to take downforce off. So this lap is probably quite a few seconds off what you're going to be getting, but you can see again the feeling of drive, the sound effects, everything's there. The physics are very good on these LMP cars. I thought that anyway when we got the Porsche hybrid car, the LMP prototype car, whatever it's called. I could feel you could tell the physics were so good on that as well, and in this car they really do come together. Really enjoyable car to drive. It's good now that we've got a variety in them, although I don't know how equal they're going to be, because this car will not keep up with the more modern versions of the LMP cars. So I don't know how that's going to play out. You're probably going to have to work them out on tracks and see what are equal, but I don't think this is going to be competitive with the others. But I don't know what it's like in terms of fuel competitive. I'm not too sure. I'm not up there with all that, but another really enjoyable car to drive. You know, you're going to be looking forward to testing this out on console, and also if you haven't bought this pack yet, you need to get yourself onto Steam now and buy this pack. It's just a brilliant pack. Easily up there as one of the best packs I've tried pretty much on any game, to be honest. So that was the final car from the Audi DLC. Really good car again. I'll let you guys have a listen to the audio on this car again in a minute, and then we'll be back with the part 2, which is going to be featuring the Maserati GT1 car. I think it's the Lotus 311, which is absolutely insane car. I was shocked when I didn't expect. Didn't read any of the information on the stats, just got in it and drove it, and was totally shocked at how fast that car is. it is just unbelievable. P1 GTR, incredible grip, drives really nice, a lot better than the standard P1 because you've got the softer tyres, you've got the slick tyres, sorry, and it's got more downforce. When I drove it, I didn't have any buttons set up for any of the, I don't know how it works with the hybrid on that, whether you have to have them set up, but I haven't got any set up on my steering wheel yet because I don't tend to drive cars with the hybrid or DRS, so didn't have any set up at that point, but it's something we'll do in the future. Anyway guys, if you've enjoyed this little video I've done just previewing very quickly the Audi collection within the DLC pack, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and a like, and I'll be back with part 2 soon featuring another 6 cars from that DLC pack, and they're great cars as well. Look forward to seeing you.